put this piece together right now. First step is going to take our motherboard. This is also the scariest part. We're going to put in the CPU and the CPU cooler right here. Always have some beer around. I chose a Polar Salvatore double black because it'll get you drunk. And don't spill any, obviously. So we're going to get into that. Okay, we're going to drop the CPU in there. This is going to be the scariest part of putting the PC together, only because it's extremely secure. And right now we're opening the CPU cage in order to get our little guy out of here. If it would open, that'd be great. Alright. So obviously, you don't want to get anything in there because that's where your CPU is going. The CPU can only go in one way, and that is indicated by this golden arrow in the corner there, if you can see that.
Alright, yeah.
See it? On the top corner?
There you go.
There should also be a golden, that'd be funny. Alright, so once it's in, you're just going to close the gate. Make sure that this ledge goes on top of that little guy. It's going to feel like there's a lot of force, so you're going to be a little scared, but just go right in there. And there. Now your CPU is secured. And now we're going to move on to our thermal paste. There. You're only going to want about a pea-sized drop of thermal paste. I'd recommend picking up Arctic Silver or something else, but not the standard stuff they give you. But all you're going to want to do is put a little pea-sized drop in the middle. Is that right? And then spread it out evenly on the CPU. And you can use a razor blade, you can use whatever you want, a credit card, anything to secure that. Okay, usually a CPU cooler probably won't be that big. This thing is a monster. Read your manual. I had to set these prongs to the bottom setting, and I'm going to have to screw on a back plate, so it might be a little different, but you're just going to line up the bottom of the CPU cooler with your CPU top with thermal paste. And if you zoom in, get close. It's super thin. I mean, it's a really thin layer. It just needs to conduct heat between the CPU and the CPU cooler. So I'm just going to line this up as best as I can. And drop it down. And now I'm going to have to flip the CPU, or the motherboard and the CPU cooler over to install the back gate, which is a little scary, but we're going to do this to the best of our ability. And I'm just going to drop it right on top and balance it. So all I did was screw the backplate on with this little guy that came with it. Make sure that when you're screwing in, if you are screwing in a backplate, that you're screwing it in evenly on both sides. So I'd screw in here, and then here, here, and then here. You want to make sure that pressure on the CPU is even. That's it. We're going to flip this back over, and then we're going to move on. I'm going to be installing the RAM next. Read your motherboard manual. Mine, if I'm putting in 3 sticks, it's going to be using the second white slot here. RAM's pretty dummy proof. As you can see, there's a notch sort of at the halfway midpoint. So all you're going to do is just line it up and then just push in, and you're going to hear both sides click. There we go. You're going to do that for all 3. Just make sure you push evenly on both sides. Screws in. We're going to put our faceplate on before we start screwing down the motherboard. It might come with one already. I'm just going to line it up and then push it into here. Snap. tricky SOB. If you're wondering about lining up your motherboard, this is what you're going to use as a guide. So, we're going to be mounting the motherboard into the case right now. As you can see here, it says that the A bracket is for the ATX motherboard that I'm going to be using. We're going to be mounting with these little screws that come with the base on everything marked A, and then we're going to actually drop our motherboard inside our case. I've stripped all the faces off and the doors. I'm going to be working bare minimum right now for cable management reasons. And, I'll start mounting the screws after I drop the motherboard in here. I like doing the CPU cooler and RAM first before I drop the motherboard in. I'm going to do everything else. Alright, we're good. So we're just going to be lining everything up. Next we're going to be dropping in our power supply unit. Now that our motherboard is securely fastened with the ATX screws. Don't eat this shit. It's bad for you. But it is pretty cool if you drop it in a glass of water. If you want to geek out, just saying. Alright.
Can we do that later?
Yeah, sure. Another video. So, this PSU, the fan is on the bottom, and actually there's a mount here with a dust guard of the fan. So we're actually going to be dropping the GPU PSU in upside down. Just make sure your cable's clear here. It looks like we have a little notch. It's caught. That's awesome. Get out of there, fucker. It's now an R-rated tutorial. Alright, so I'm going to drop him under the guard here. And then we can use the back side right here to screw it in. It'll come off the front side here, babe. And we're just going to be screwing this guy in on these 4 holes. The rubber stops is going to keep it on the bottom. And we're going to put the cable through this hole right here. Right there. To save on space to the motherboard.
Okay.
Alright, next up we're going to be dropping in our GPUs. These are actually pretty big. Make sure you get rid of the correct slots and you're lining them up with the correct speed PCIe express slot. So I'm going to be lining these up with the 2 that I have here. Now you're going to be making sure that this little cage guy snaps into place. There we go. So that's dropped in. That's right. Now make sure that when you're removing them, there's a little latch back here. You see these little white guys that you're going to have to pull up in order to get your GPU card back out there. Come on, buddy. Work with me here. There we go. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to screw these 2 guys down and add our Crossfire cable.
Okay.
Alright, we're installing the Crossfire cable between the 2 cords right now. Don't worry, it's very flexible. So all you have to do is connect it to the 2 top cards, like so. Ooh, there's a nice crunchy sound. That means it's working.
Crossfire.
Alright, there we go. We have crossfired our cards. We'll go in the BIOS settings later to actually set it up because your computer's probably going to read one card at first. Although maybe two, but they won't be working in Crossfire until we set that up with the drivers. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We'll do a section in cable management, but that's pretty much a no-brainer. I don't want to watch you guys see me like just sticking my hands in my machine for hours and being meticulous. Actually, let's go over installing the hard drives, and then we'll be done. Last step here, you're going to want to install whatever DVD-ROM drives you have in. This one's already been mounted, and your hard drives. And basically, I got these little cages that allow me to push these buttons out and then easily line them up and secure the hard drives here. Normally you use screws. Pretty much these flat cages are kind of neat though. Wow, if I can get the thing in the hole, there we go. You attach it with the bottom to its mount so that you can put it in the tray that way. And that's basically it. You slide them in, slide them out, and then we'll go over plugging everything in. We're at our cable management stage. Just trying to set everything up. We've plugged in all our power LED stuff, the front USB out. I'm about to install a couple more PCI powers to power both of these double PCIe power cables. Came with two standard, but I'm going to need add an extra one for each. Got our power plugged into our motherboard here. Our CPU fan is way up there up top, plugged in, and all the system fans actually plug into the case with these labeled guys. So that's pretty cool. And a lot of the work has already been done for the fans that were installed on the back. So basically, yeah, that's about it. I'm going to try and find the front mic and speaker for headphone in, and then we're just going to start tying this stuff down and we're done. And then we got to plug in our hard drives, 2 hard drives, and the CD-ROM into our SATA slots, which are really hard to see because they're under the video card, but they're there. Alright, and that'll probably finish us off. And then we'll go into BIOS later.
Oh my gosh, we're going to put in the cables.
Are you filming?
Yes.
Alright, we're all cabled out with the everything plugged into the hard drive where it should be. We've got our double PCIe's here, power cable. We got the case fan up top there, our CPU fan, sorry. We got our AC Audio 7 HD audio, plug it in there. Fan controller for the CPU, though I doubt I'll be using that much. I'm probably just going to keep that bad boy on max. And we've got the front USB, power LED, hard drive light reset here. And now we're ready to put our SATA cables for our 2 hard drives and our DVD Blu-ray device. So I got these guys for like $1 at $1.90, I think, at mono price. They come with the power themselves and the SATA plug, and I realize now that they're kind of short, and we're going to see how.
Oh no.
If we can,
they look cool.
but since the case is good LEDs, we're going to try and get this set up. And then the final stage will be tying everything off once we've got this started, and then we'll boot it up. And cross our fingers.
Yay.
No, it'll work.
Okay.